I believe we all wish the Sussex couple would completely disappear from the stage because we are fed up with them. However, issues surrounding Archie and Lili are still awaiting resolution. We cannot let invisible children remain in the line of succession ambiguously, because that is why many people have lost faith in the royal family. And that's what's motivating me to share my personal opinion in this video. Hello, friends, welcome back to the King YouTube channel. I'm not sure if you realized it, but it's actually not all that natural that the system of assurance of legitimacy of the heirs to the throne came into being. It was actually put into place to protect the country, and it requires the confirmation of legality through transparency of all immediate heirs to the throne, and also the line of succession. All citizens of the UK have the right to know the origins of anyone who is on that list. So the doubts raised by Harry and Meghan's behavior have fed some really dangerous and perhaps even damaging speculation for the royal family. Many people assert, though, that Meghan Markle's right to privacy shouldn't override the public's right to know, especially considering all the doubts and the concerns raised by their bizarre behavior. If nothing changes, then only children born from the body of a royal family member's spouse certified by royal physicians are eligible to be included in the line of succession. And it seems to me like Archofficial and Invisibed are both lacking these elements. Another problem is that Meghan Markle is always being pointed out as having a fake pregnancy, leading to a lot of speculation and controversy, especially because Harry and Meghan are always trying to hide the children from public view. And that's why so many people are asking Harry and Meghan, and the royal family too, to just clarify this issue once and for all, and also do the right thing, remove the invisible Sussex children from the line of succession. So not only should Archofficial and Invisibed lose their places in the line of succession, but Harry should also lose his place. He helped Meghan trick people with those fake pregnancies, he knew all about it. And I had my doubts, but anyway, up to this point, there is no way I could ever believe either of those children were born from Meghan Markle's body. Now, if there are any real documents that come out that say that these children did come from her body, I still wouldn't believe it, to tell you the truth. Actually, I think that would lead credibility to my theory that Meghan Markle knows some people with very deep pockets, and she knows things about these people that they don't want getting out. Just like everybody else, I believe the only way to stop this horrible behavior is to take the titles away and remove Harry from the line of succession, and the children too, unless, of course, they can provide some DNA proving that they are Harry and Meghan's children and that they were born of Meghan's body. But even in court, when the judge asked Harry to give the exact date of the children's birth, he refused. So the judge allowed Harry to just skip this question. He allowed Harry to not give the specific age of the kids. But wouldn't their birth dates be required for verification and correct identification at some point, especially considering all the mystery surrounding these two? If Harry and Meghan refuse to have DNA tests done on the children, if they refuse to give any sort of documentation, then they should lose all the titles, and they should lose their places in the line of succession, because they fail to comply with any real proof. Why are they still on that list, and why do they still get to hold on to those titles? It doesn't make sense to me. Honestly, I don't think anything, though, is going to stop those two from using and abusing the titles. The royal website makes it very clear that they are not connected to the monarchy or the royal family in any way, shape, or form. They are certainly not representatives of the monarchy or of the country. They're about like Prince Andrew is at this point. They are simply members of the royal family, nothing more, nothing less. If they want to be known as celebrities, then that's how they need to be treated, if you ask me, and that's how they act. People should stop thinking of them in terms of the royals. Their titles are meaningless outside of royal duties anyway. I don't understand why they insist on using them in a country that doesn't recognize titles. There have also been some rather interesting claims surrounding Archofficial's birth that there's no way we're going to believe. Honestly, this game should have been put to a stop a long time ago, and now it's just a drama that looks like it's never going to end. Right now, there are so many people on social media calling for letters to be written to the National Assembly. Some have even recommended petitioning Princess Anne to do something, to be more transparent, to clear up this whole mess. Now, she would do it. She's not scared to do the right thing, and King Charles has a lot of respect for her. Harry and Meghan have played more than enough games, and they've been messing around for long enough. They have never been able to give any proof that the births were reliably witnessed, so the children's title should be taken away until they can provide some real concrete proof. I mean, they're acting like a couple of spoiled children. They need to be treated like that. There are way too many people who are being hurt in this game that these narcissists like to play: the royal family, the palace, and even the people of the UK. Especially, though, these children called Archie and Lili, if they're even real. Now, assuming they are real people, they're innocent in all this, but they're always dragged into these arguments about their origin. As for Lili, though, how could Harry and Meghan force their daughter to bear the consequence that would go down in history by naming her Lilibet, by stealing the name her beloved great-grandmother had? It was a pet name that nobody else was supposed to use. Such awful people. It was clear to me it was meant to be a little dig, a middle finger up at the late Queen. It was basically a way of them saying, "You're not so special, look what we can take from you." This was Meghan Markle trying to get back at the Queen for denying her marketing plan, this whole half-in, half-out scheme. The fact that Meghan wasn't allowed to use Sussex Royal was something she couldn't abide by. Meghan herself even said at one point the Queen didn't own the word royal. It's been 5 years since Harry and Meghan left the royal family, and supposedly they have 2 children. Clearly, the royal family do not believe they owe anybody any explanations. Now, I would say the British taxpayers do have the right to know the truth. They have the right to know who gave birth to those children. It is the taxpayers, after all, who are going to be expected to foot the bill for the children in the future. This whole mess should have been cleared up a long time ago when the children were born, actually. Honestly, it's been allowed to go on for such a long time. It's going to really hurt King Charles's credibility if we find out the kids are actually not supposed to be in the line of succession. Harry and Meghan should have been told no before Archie was even born. Or maybe this is another example of the palace playing the long game, but I don't know how it's going to end. In my opinion, the palace shouldn't need to prove the reality that Harry and Meghan present to everybody. I suspect the kids should just be quietly removed from the line of succession, and the palace shouldn't make any comment. The palace should make this responsibility Harry and Meghan's. They should be the ones who have to prove that their children really do belong in the line of succession. I mean, why should the palace have to prove legitimacy? They shouldn't. Harry and Meghan have been so deceptive. They've just been so dishonest, and if you ask me, the palace needs to do something about it. Harry and Meghan should be the ones who have to prove that their children really deserve to be put in the line of succession. They have done this to themselves, so the burden of proof should fall on their shoulders, not the palace. Now, it is up to the royal family to require everybody in the line of succession follow the same protocol in providing physician verification of birth. Meghan's doctor didn't necessarily have to be chosen by the royal family, but whoever the doctor was expected to verify by observation that it was a legitimate birth. So if Harry and Meghan didn't like that, that's fine, but they cannot then turn around and expect their children to be listed in the line of succession. Why can't Harry and Meghan release signed documentation from attending physicians at both the children's births? Why can't they just put an end to all this speculation? Well, I think you know the answer, and I know the answer too. They can't do it because they used a surrogate. Meghan never gave birth to those children. And I would also like to know what skin color the mother had. I mean, how funny if Meghan and Harry chose a white woman to bear Harry's child. And it would be even more insane to accuse the royal family of talking bad about an unborn baby's skin color while knowing good and well that both biological parents were white. Now, if you ask me, that's an example of racism. Meghan thought that she was being so sly, setting up the royal family to be blackmailed. If the royal family forces their hand, and we find out that they came from surrogates, Meghan is going to say the royals forced her to use a surrogate because they were racist and they didn't want any brown babies. And, well, that would explain why these children we have seen photos of, who are supposedly Archie and Lilibet, are so white. I don't see how they could be a quarter black or whatever it is they're supposed to be. If Meghan also were not such a maniacal narcissist, then she would have understood she was presented with an excellent opportunity to bridge ethnic cultures. But she decided to overplay the race card, and so that led her into the mess she finds herself in today. Meghan thrives on drama, and so she has stirred it up as much as she possibly could. The MOONBUMP pregnancy, the birth of the invisible children. I'm sure if Meghan had been pregnant, she never would have stopped talking about the experience. We would have heard all about what it was like from the time of conception to the day she gave birth. She doesn't shut up about herself, so I don't understand why she would miss this chance to talk about her own pregnancy. And then, when the names showed up in the line of succession, I guess Meghan decided that she needed to hide them in that Montecito McMansion. She was worried that people would notice the changes or the differences. Or perhaps the kids are hidden because Meghan doesn't want the competition. I mean, after all, she's never met a camera she doesn't love. If the children are going to appear, the cameras will too. And guess what? That's going to take the focus away from her, and she is desperate for attention. Honestly, what it all comes back to is the grifter's willingness to lie, to twist facts into crazy claims, and Meghan is gonna pull the race card whenever she has a chance. She doesn't give any evidence, though, she just does it. Obviously, nobody hates her because of the color of her skin. I mean, come on. Harry and Meghan were once the most beloved royals. And if there really were facts, dates, and evidence, then I think anybody would support them. But the grifters never show anything to support their outlandish claims. Instead, it is their smoke and mirrors to deflect from their lies and their propaganda they try to put out too. It just shows that Meghan Markle, this evil succubus, has really been capable of changing the monarchy for the worse. The inaction of the king to Harry and Meghan has really affected the prestige of the royal family. It has hurt their reputation. And we keep on hearing that the truth is finally going to be exposed, but so far, nothing. I remember last October I heard that Harry was going to finally come clean about the whole scam, and I also heard the palace was going to bring the whole charade to light. But unfortunately, I guess some health problems got in the way. And there are plenty of rumors that Meghan Markle is going to try to flip everything by claiming that they were forced to use a surrogate because the royal family didn't want their bloodline tainted by Meghan, this black woman, which of course is untrue and also insane. There have been multiple people of color throughout history who have already mixed into the hereditary line. The royal family is not racist. Meghan just thinks that everybody is as dumb as she and Harry are. And honestly, Harry can't remember much anyway from the history of the throne, so it's not like he's a good source of information. Harry chose to marry the most unsuitable woman he could find. And this is why a long time ago, royalty did not marry commoners. They stuck with royalty, or at least higher echelons of the aristocracy. So at least Princess Catherine came from good stock, unlike Meghan. At least she was able to purchase her wedding dress, or her family was rather. Her father was there to walk her down the aisle. These things are important to a woman's reputation. Meghan Markle should have had her family there. She should have had her father walking her down the aisle. She's the one who chose to abandon her family. And it looks like Meghan taught Harry to do the same, because right after they got married, Harry abandoned his family too. He left and then went on to cause pain to the royal family and really all the people of the UK. So no, he and Meghan have no reason to complain when the taxpayers and supposed racists demand to know the truth about the invisible children. The public has a right to know whether those children are rightfully in the line of succession, or whether Harry and Meghan are pretending something is when it's not. I'm tired of talking about the legitimacy of Archie and Lili, but still, we've got to talk about it. It's an important issue. And the fact that nothing is being done about it is what pisses me off so much. Those children have titles that they don't deserve, and they should not be listed in the line of succession when they don't belong there. Because I cannot believe for 1 second that Meghan really gave birth to either of those kids. The people of Britain and the Commonwealth deserve an answer. Honestly, it just burns me up, and the fact they're getting away with it makes me irate. And how could we forget about how this horrible parenting is going to affect these kids mentally and emotionally? I do wish the media would start bringing more of this out in the open so that we can't ignore it any longer. I mean, if Meghan Markle's right to privacy is covering up a criminal act, then she loses all privacy rights if you ask me. The public are entitled to know the truth. They're entitled to find out for sure if a child in the line of succession is a legitimate heir. Because after all, it is the people of Britain who have to bear most of the tax burdens for the support of these invisible children, so they should see some evidence, they should receive clarification. Eventually, one way or another, the truth is going to come out. The issue is not just going to disappear. Now, if Meghan really had those children, if she really gave birth to them, then it's a pretty easy matter to resolve, I would think. But the fact that it hasn't been resolved yet, that says a lot to us. If they really did use a surrogate, and if they had just been transparent about that from the very beginning, then they would have received a lot of support and respect from the public. People would have appreciated the transparency. Harry and Meghan, though, have made such a joke of the royal family and Britons over this, and I simply don't believe the damage is going to be easy to repair. This issue has got to be addressed as soon as possible. Now, if the palace, especially King Charles, can't show competence in the matter of the line of succession, then it makes me doubt his competence on other issues too. After all, what reason could he have? Why is he not being thorough? Why is he not being clean about a matter like this? It makes us wonder why they haven't done anything, why they don't want to clear this matter up for their own reputations. It doesn't look good for the monarchy. People's trust in them is going to disappear if they cannot clear these things up. And I don't even want to think about the damage that it might do to the long-time survival of the monarchy. Personally, I love the royal family, but I find it incredibly hurtful and a slap in the face that the British public and members of the Commonwealth are treated like they have no say in this matter whatsoever. So I can understand why many people are upset about this whole issue. If the monarchy really respects its people, the rumors need to be clarified. Modern day people are just looking for the truth. We're not comfortable with being kept in the dark like previous generations may have been. The rumors are only going to increase, and the only victims in all this at the end of the day are Archie and Lili. So I think the time has come for King Charles to step in and be honest and just put a stop to all the tabloids' rumors. Every family has its problems, so what makes the royals think they're above all that? They can just admit their mistake. They can stand up and take responsibility for the role they played in this whole deception, and then they can finally move past it. I mean, Meghan came and brought so many problems to the royal family. But there's also something good in all this. The monarchy is more popular now than ever, mostly because Harry and Meghan have made everybody understand how lucky they are to have real devoted working royals. It's a shame if Meghan believes she can change a regime that has existed for 1,000 years with her privacy. She's wrong. If Harry and Meghan don't want this public intrusion into their privacy, and if they really want freedom from invasion of their privacy, then why not just volunteer to remove Harry and the children from the line of succession? Volunteer to give the titles back. It really is mind-boggling to see how that nasty pair have gotten away with this scam involving the alleged children. Most of us have seen that photo. We've seen the photos of the bumps slipping down to Meghan's knees or deflating and inflating. If they had just been honest about using a surrogate, then nobody would have had a problem with that. Instead, it would have brought a lot of attention to the struggle that so many people go through when they're trying to conceive. But instead, there's been all this secrecy. There's been the smoke and mirrors, the games, the blurry pictures. If Meghan had given birth to those children, we would know all about it. She would always be getting publicity for herself with one of the children or another. And then what about the miscarriage? It's never been mentioned since, and that's not something anybody would easily forget. There are so many women around the world who have suffered miscarriages, not even once but twice. Both Harry and Meghan are disgusting individuals, and those kids, if they are real, when they get older, they're going to learn all about their parents' sins, and then there's going to be even more drama. Harry and Meghan have created this atmosphere of distrust, so now even what the royal family may do when it comes to this matter might not be trusted. This matter, though, is not just going to disappear. It has to be brought out into the open. It has to be resolved. If you ask me, Harry and Meghan's behavior over the births of Archie and Lili is not only harmful to the monarchy, but also harmful to themselves and their children. As for the two of them, we already know they're liars. We already know Harry and Meghan can't be trusted. They're not worth welcoming back. But what about the children? What if they really are real? I feel so sorry for them if they really do live in the home with Harry and Meghan. Just imagine those kids never get to go anywhere, they never get to have play dates, they never get to meet any of their family members. If Meghan gets her way, those children will grow up never getting to know their royal family members. They won't know any of their family from either side for that matter. What kind of parents allow such an existence? Even if Harry and Meghan personally don't want to have relationships with their family members, okay, fine, but it's wrong to deprive their children of that. It's wrong to not allow those children the opportunity to get to know their family. What exactly is stopping them anyway? I guess as an American, Meghan is convinced that all these rules and traditions are dumb and she doesn't appreciate them. As a narcissist, she refuses to honor them because she knows better, remember. Now, sometimes I do believe the children exist. At this point, I'm kind of convinced of it. But whether or not Meghan gave birth to them, I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't believe she gave birth to them. But there is one thing I am sure of. Harry and Meghan's secrecy surrounding the kids is just done to drum up interest. But I think it's backfiring because I think at this point in time it's gotten boring. Most people don't even care about seeing those children. And I do remember when Archie was born, a notice outside the palace announced that Archie was born and that Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, was present. Now, I thought it was weird because I thought, well, if she gave birth, well, of course she was present. I think this was a con, though, and I think the royal family didn't know about it until such time as it was too late to say much. It would have been a lot easier to have said something like, okay, because of some medical problems, Meghan cannot give birth, so the couple is planning to use a surrogate instead. But no, it has to be so dramatic, and Meghan Markle has to tell lies to create the attention that she's so desperate for, so evil and so manipulative. But with this in mind, the palace should not have agreed to give the titles to the children. It's not right. The palace should have just stayed silent and called their bluff. It's important to never give in to a narcissist, never give in to somebody who's trying to blackmail you. If Harry and Meghan contacted the palace privately, then they should have been told they had to comply with all the rules governing the line of succession and titles if they really thought their children deserved them. And then what would Harry and Meghan have done? Well, they couldn't have done anything. The children's names would have been crossed out, and Harry and Meghan would have had to leave quietly. Maybe they can be exiled like Edward and Wallace were. They can, after all, forbid them from ever being seen in public with the good royals. They can make them live somewhere remote, maybe somewhere in Scotland, so they don't have anything to do with the public. Now, that scenario would be great, but I don't think it's going to happen. The story they tell, though, just doesn't make sense. It's way too suspicious. It's clear to me that they rushed into marriage and they rushed to have kids. Knowing that Meghan was from a different country with a different set of values and customs, I mean, she should have done her due diligence. She should have made sure that she was going to fit in well as a working member of the royal family. But she never wanted that. From the very beginning, she had a plan of her own, and she made it come true. So Meghan Markle came, she took what she could in the name of being Harry's wife, and then she was ready to leave. The palace, though, needs to do something about this issue as soon as possible. Suspicion is only increasing. And the later the pregnancy and Meghan and Harry's invisible children are exposed, the more damage the royal family is going to suffer. Well, my friends, that brings us to the end of this video. If you agree with my opinion, please leave a comment. And if not, please express your opinion so we can better understand you. Don't forget to like and share this video. Your support is our motivation. And don't forget to subscribe to receive notifications about the newest videos. We'll be back soon. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.